poppin'? What's crack-a-lackin'? What's really good? You are listening to The Rope Break, and thank you. We are your source for news, opinions, and anything else that revolves around the world of professional wrestling. It is I, the sexy Samoan, who is now cross-dressing as a female luchador just to get closer to Alexa Bliss. Las Luchadora, you see any of that?
I saw it.
Yeah.
Amazing.
I think it's Tamina, right? It's got to be.
That's what I'm thinking is that's what it looked like through the mask a little bit.
Yeah.
It kind of looked like Nia Jackson. Like, it can't be her.
Right. It wasn't wide enough to be her. And I am with my boy you just heard from. He brought a stash that smells sweeter than angel pussy on Christmas morning. No idea what that means. Brett the Hitman, say what's up to him, Hitman.
It means Blackberry Kush, motherfucker.
And there's our boy. He's a lot like Pink Floyd because his last hit was The Wall.
Oh, yes!
Shockmaster Grizz, say what up to him, Grizz.
I just, I'd love to laugh, but my hopes and dreams were dashed to the ground like Derek Carr's fibula.
Or my fantasy football dreams, too.
Oh, my God. I'm more hurt in my soul than he is in his leg because he's invincible.
Listen, a little bit of a bad break for the Raiders there on that front.
Did you literally just say bad break? Come on. That hurts. But,
well, hey, listen, there is a timeline, right, that he's coming back. Is he going to make it back for any sort of real scenario?
No, 6 weeks is the Super Bowl. What do you want to do? You want to take a guy who's been injured the whole time? If Matt McGloin gets the Raiders to the Super Bowl, you stay with the motherfucker who got you there.
Sure.
And then there's, the people who are like, oh, well, Derek Carr got you to the playoffs to begin with. And it's like, there's fucking 21 other people who start and 52 other people who play. So, come on.
Yeah, I can see that, but it is unfortunate. And on the football front for Brett and I, the Giants are in. After an absolutely pathetic showing from against the Eagles on the Thursday night there a couple weeks ago. But hey, what are you going to do? We got the Skins this week. A lot had to happen for us not to be in.
Yeah, we're not even going to try against the Skins, and they got to win to try to get in the playoffs too. They said we're not really going to play our guys. We don't need to because we're not going to move.
Right. I don't want anybody to get hurt. So
we're just chilling out this
as
week.
much as I think that it's a little bit of a cop out, and every game does matter in a 16-week season. But in this current situation, we could take it a little easy on the Skins.
Guys, all you have to
we owe them a big one though from earlier in the season.
Yeah.
All you have to do is get back to the Super Bowl because you're going to be playing the Patriots again.
It's true.
But can old man?
I'm not watching a Dallas New England Super Bowl.
No, I bet most of the country are front running fucking pieces of shit, so they'll be watching it. But real football fans are
America's
probably
team versus the Patriots. I can't. That's like I don't even know. I would rather choke on a rusty nail and get an enema at the same time from Titus O'Neil.
From Titus O'Neil. Wow.
That kind of enema.
Wow.
Like the year that the Saints and the Colts went to the Super Bowl and it was Peyton Manning, I got so blackout drunk because I did not want to know.
I just don't want to know the outcome.
Right. Okay, so I guess we can consider this the year-end wrap-up of 2016 here on the Rope Break. Got some few things to talk about regarding, maybe some of your opinions on some of the things that we've talked about for the end of the year.
Time out, bad guys. Best wrestling-related Christmas present before we get into the new year.
The Warrior socks are cool. I tend to like the NWO socks a little better. But let me tell you, these are some quality socks. They're made by Odd Socks. And they've even got, a sock is high quality when you've got, the little X to not only mark the front of the sock, but it marks whether it's right or left or not.
Yes.
Now we've got some quality socks talking. So the shape of the socks are in much better shape than any member of the NWO right now. Let me tell you that. And the Warrior's dead, so there's that. I am trying to think if I got any other wrestling gifts, but I think this year, Lindsay nailed it in a non-wrestling gift that is just killer. Francis Ford Coppola's copy of the Godfather script, complete with notes and all pages of the actual novel that he's excerpted and why he taking those excerpts and what he wants to do creatively within the movie. Plus some other, first-hand accounts from other cast members. These incredible photos. It's just an awesome coffee table piece. I'll tell you that.
She knows you too well, huh?
Yeah, a little bit too well. A little bit too well.
That's great, though, man.
Yeah. All right. How about you boys? Some wrestling stuff.
I got the Hitman socks and the.
You got the odd socks too?
Yeah, the Razor Ramon socks, but I bought those for myself. So that's
Razor Ramon socks.
I can't really say wrestling related. I got my friend got me a Bootio shirt, so
Nice.
that was pretty cool. So that's probably because that's I think the only wrestling present I got. So I can't. I'm trying
So
to
now
think.
are you double dipping on the Bootio shirts? now you're double
No, I
stacked.
got. It's funny because I already had. I told him I was like, it's funny because I already have this one or whatever. But I have.
You've got the original one with the it was like the gray one with the symbol, the New Day symbol, right?
I have like one of those teal blue ones too. I have like the actual the Bootio's like cereal box ones too.
You're
so
right.
it's funny.
That's
because
awesome.
it's like those ones they sold on the internet too. So that was pretty cool.
Right on. Well, we'll be talking about New Day in just a
What
minute.
about your best wrestling gift?
Well, you know what? Actually didn't get much, but I got the same not sandals, slippers that you got. I have Phenomenal One AJ Styles slippers, and I put them on, and I'll be damned if they're not the most comfortable slippers I've ever worn in my entire life.
So like
Amazing. We
I
were
guess
both phenomenal.
That's and that's a lot to be said for the WWE store because I think if they really wanted to, they could skimp out on quality.
Oh yeah.
They probably wouldn't sell as much because moms and stuff wouldn't like the fact that their shirts are ripping as soon as they buy them and all that stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
But for the marks and stuff, I think you can get away. I mean, Barbershop Window and stuff has some awesomely clever stuff, but it's not the highest quality.
not quality.
Now, all the WWE stuff, I don't think I've ever gotten anything from there that I said was cheap.
No,
There was this King of the Ring snapback one time. I used to rock it all the time. It was
I've seen it.
great, but it came a little crooked and like you don't. When you order a snapback, it should come in a box.
In a box, yeah.
You know what I mean? I order them all the time.
What'd they put it
This
in?
prestigious thing right here. You know what I mean? But
What'd they do? What'd they put it in?
it came in one of those WWE bags, the Amazon bags, and it was squished as shit. It took me I had to literally reshape it. Thank God I live in Danbury and have it in my blood of the hat shaping industry. But no, I did not. I didn't enjoy my King of the Ring hat as much as I should have.
Well, the other thing I got was a Randy Savage shirt, not the purple one, but the purple one wasn't available. I know because I would have gotten that instead of the Drink It In Man shirt when I won the contest here, and it's like long, right, but like tight around the arms, so I feel not as fat and more beefy.
Oh, cool.
I love it.
That's awesome.
That's great.
So
What color
I
is
kind of
that?
find the same stuff.
Oh yeah.
I find the same stuff a little bit, and I'm certainly different shape than you guys. But the arms are a little tighter.
I think we're pretty close right now, my friend.
You're still way taller than me.
Well, yeah.
And
But
I'm, I'm Samoan, dude.
So this is really good radio.
My wrists alone.
It's really good radio, but the Samoan sexual mocha, Joe Maga, has lost more weight than I know what to do with. How do you even say?
I appreciate that. I know how you say it.
The motherfucker.
Diamond cutter, dude.
The motherfucker has lost so
First
much
of all,
weight.
that diamond cutter workout, the actual workout that's called the diamond cutter in DDP yoga, is insane. Like I did the 2.0 one today, and that was the first time I'd done it, and I'm feeling pretty fuck yeah. I'm a little rubbery, like you know what I mean? Yeah, exactly. I'm a little rubbery there, but I can't recommend DDP yoga enough for anybody. It like anyone, especially if you're a guy who is not into the whole like meditating thing, but you want to switch your workout regime up a little bit. You'd be surprised at all of a sudden you're flexing every muscle in your body for a half hour straight and moving it around, and you've got quite a swole on, if you know what I'm saying.
Well, and Paige isn't the most physically impressive guy either.
He never was. He never was, and he had those crazy back problems.
Yeah.
That was almost his demise. And then he came back and had a world championship run based off of the workout that he created for himself. A lot of it's very traditional yoga stuff, but it's the cardio that's mixed in with the strength training and the traditional yoga that makes it all the one package that.
Dude, I might have to try it out with you. I'm curious myself.
Yeah,
At least I
dude.
know, like firsthand from you, that it actually works.
I think we should do a video rope break
Well, it's
of
fun.
us doing yoga.
I'd be down with that. Here's the
yoga,
thing. The funny thing is that that's a really good idea. That's why I'm stopping. I got some ideas for
That'd be
that.
fun.
But one of the things that you start this program, and I didn't think I thought I was gonna have to like call my wife into the other room and help me off the floor from this mat, and then all of a sudden you're like a month and a half in, and you're like, I could do this, and then all of a sudden you're like 3 months in, and you're like, doing things in life that you wouldn't have physically necessarily been able to accomplish before because of just the core strength and things like
Like
that.
a 450.
I don't think that's quite in the regime
Almost.
yet, but yeah, it'll
getting
get there. Yeah. Maybe that'll be like the man. Maybe they'll do a version from the man that television forgot, Adrian Neville. No, he's back on TV.
Man, the television forgot. That's
Better than
good.
But he's getting back there. And
I don't think he belongs at the cruiserweights, but I think he's going to get the spotlight.
he's going to be the top heel now in
Yeah.
the cruiserweight division, who throws a falcon arrow. But or a red arrow. The funny thing about him is, of course, yes, I mean, he's talking better. He's a heel, and it's easier. You know what I mean? Maybe not. All right. What do you think about that? You hear all the time guys like Randy Orton, Roman Reigns, all these baby faces that are sort of boring and not great. They're better as a heel. It's better being a heel. Even Flair, obviously, better as a heel. But like, do you think there's some ground to that, or is it objective to every single wrestler?
May I? I'm sorry.
No, go ahead. Do your thing, man.
I think it's harder to be a good heel than it is to be anything else in wrestling. I think it's easy to be a middle-of-the-road / crummy heel. I think it's easy to be a decent face, right? Like they say comedy is easy because all you have to do is look like an idiot and people laugh at you. And it's like, no, comedy is by far the hardest thing to do in acting. Because anyone can act sad, anyone can act mad because you have been, right? To make people laugh, to make them get out of their own personal comfort zone and like exert, comedic, I'm just saying, to be enough of a heel that they genuinely hate you instead of them hating you because you're boring, because you're a shitty face, is like really hard.
Okay, so I don't disagree with you at all. Everything you said is correct. In a traditional wrestling sense.
Okay.
These days, if you're a good enough heel, everyone starts to love you, and then what do you do?
Exactly. Well, then you just have to. I mean, I would love to say that Jericho did a good job.
Kick
of
him
it.
in the balls. Yeah. Well, he did a good job to an extent. Now, I feel like if he wasn't Chris Jericho for the last 20 years, then maybe this character people would be still legitimately hating them.
Sure.
I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that he's a legend.
Well, I think Rollins did a better job of
Rollins
being a
did a great
traditional
job.
heel.
Okay, now I heard him try to cut a babyface promo,
He sucks at being a
and it was
babyface.
awful.
Yeah.
He's no babyface.
His moveset is babyface.
Yeah.
Him and Reigns should both shut the fuck up and just wrestle. Because
Right.
they would do much better.
Yeah. But then what do you do for heels? Like, that's the thing. Like, you got to tell a story here, especially for 3 hours on a Monday night.
I think if Roman Reigns just played an arrogant heel, like, that's it. It's over. You have exactly what you want from him.
Sure. I'm just not sure that the current climate is conducive to that. The more I'm watching lately, the more I can see why Vince is concerned with stark baby faces and heels, because then you get into this weird booking realm of who likes who, and you can't really have any downfield vision sometimes because it's not gonna flow the way that you need it to flow. Like, I know obviously that you have to be loose on your feet when you're a wrestling promoter and the best one who's ever done it, but at the same time, it's like, what is this guy supposed to do when every single time someone does the proper things that we all hypothetically talk about being the right babyface and heel thing, it just doesn't seem to work out that way. And if it does, they get hurt the night that they win the championship.
They get hurt automatically.
Yeah.
Who else would you say is an example of that? Like AJ Styles?
No, he's been a great heel. A fantastic one. And no one, if you told me, well, actually, no, there was Fortune and all that, so I'm not even going to say that. But because he was a good heel in Fortune.
Yeah.
That was a stupid stable.
Yeah.
But he was still at least being
It
like,
might as well not even exist.
I don't know, man. You know why I like Fortune? Strictly for Lethal cutting a promo as Flair on Flair. That was that.
Well, and if you read, interviews of Jay Lethal, like, he is just like,
Right.
he marks out himself
Super mark,
over
yeah.
the fact that he feuded with Ric Flair. So, like, I'm glad that happened for him. But no, like, I just sorry. I just think that I mean, I think AJ Styles is doing a great job of being a heel, right? Like, he's got the soccer mom chants and shit, but he also does a springboard 450 to the outside through a table on a shitty pay-per-view. He takes that risk on a shitty pay-per-view to give,
Yeah.
And every time the fans say something like the Shawn Michaels poster, and we can get into that later, they put the Shawn Michaels poster up there saying that, San Antonio is where Shawn Michaels is from. Maybe they should fight. Isn't this interesting? And he literally says in interviews, whatever the fans want, we'll give them.
Right.
That's not what a heel says.
Well, we still got 5 weeks to the pay-per-view there. And
Cena's going to fight AJ.
Right. Oh, right.
So.
Right. So Cena's, he's going for the belt this time. All right. Well, do you like Cena's comeback? Do you like Cena AJ Styles 3?
Well, we kind of knew it was coming no matter what. We just didn't know when.
Right.
You knew he was going to come back and fight AJ Styles at some point. They were chanting Undertaker when Cena came down. Like,
and he let it ride out. But he's usually good at that. He's good at letting those chants ride out a little bit. That doesn't mean he's not going to fight the Undertaker at WrestleMania still.
That's true.
But
Who, Cena?
Yeah.
Oh, he will.
You don't think he's going to get the belt here?
I think he might get the belt here.
And so then the Undertaker thing is for the belt?
And then the Undertaker wins the Rumble, or a Raw person, or Jericho wins the Rumble and fights Owens.
Right. Okay, well, I think it's a little too soon for some fantasy booking down the line that far, but we've got about 5 weeks to WrestleMania. I mean, not WrestleMania, Jesus.
To the Rumble.
To the Royal Rumble. And,
so is there another pay-per-view?
No, I don't believe so, unless there's a SmackDown one.
Oh, that's going to be better for us and for you, our lovely listeners. Because
Yeah.
we won't have to fucking do picks and fucking, oh my God, all the pay-per-views are killing me.
Is that confirmed that we don't have another pay-per-view between now and the Rumble on either brand?
I don't believe that we do.
Okay. What do we want to do some year-end stuff?
Yeah.
Or do you want to continue to break it down?
Let's do year-end stuff, but let's also do, can we do TLC and Roadblock Records really quick?
Oh, yeah, sure, let's do it.
All right. So, in third place, we have Bear.
No!
Who was 6 wins and 5 losses.
Ouch.
Second place, we have me, 7 wins, 4 losses, and that means the champion, Joe Maga.
La Luchadora.
La Luchadora, 8 wins, 3 losses, and the difference maker was Sheamus and Cesaro, you sneaky son of a bitch. So
how did you fucking know?
Because that last Cesaro match and the last Cesaro Sheamus match to get them all into that.
However they looked.
Yeah. It was like the writing was on the wall for sure. Plus the New Day having lost all the way up until their run, and I knew they were just going to pull it off of them. Because here's the thing with the New Day, they did get a little stale, and I think everybody knew it. But I think more than anyone else in writing, they knew it, and they're given the creative freedom these days to they've earned it, right? The creative freedom to turn around and say, "Hey, Vince, I don't think this is working. I think we're coming to a crossroads here. Let us switch it up." And if you noticed on Raw, that was the best match of the week this week on either brand.
it was.
That rematch. And you wouldn't think it. Since when is a title rematch the best match on Raw? Unless it was one of the women massacres, which they're hanging themselves out there for life and limb. But this was great put together, and I love the storytelling. It was like, I'm sorry, I'm going off on a tangent right now, but this match was sick. Did you see it at all? It was the two skinny guys in the New Day. Jesus Christ. Xavier Woods and Kofi Kingston.
And Kofi Kingston, yep.
But Byron Saxton, of all people, did a fantastic job of letting you know that this is the New Day decided to switch things up and keep Big E out of the match so that they have a speed advantage over the very obviously stronger guys in Cesaro and Sheamus. And I thought that's wrestling 101. And I thought it was really well portrayed there, and they did it accordingly. New spots from the New Day.
Yep.
Because it was those two, and it was something totally different, and I thought it was really, really enjoyable. It almost was if Cesaro and Sheamus were working heel in this match.
Yeah.
That goes back to what I was saying a little earlier. That was okay for this match, but I don't want to see that from the New Day. Really, I don't think they need to be heels right now. What I would like to see from the New Day is I would like to see them maybe break up, but not for any other reason other than they want to. They're the greatest, longest running tag team champions of all time, and they want to all go at it again.
Well, they could keep it as a stable, but like wrestle singles matches, go after singles titles, right?
Right. Maybe that's
Is
the
that what you
evolution.
mean?
I actually meant a clean breakup.
Okay.
See some new gear. Let Big E test his main event chops a little bit. Push him up there, see what happens. I think we could do it. We said the same thing when the New Day started, bro. We were like, "This is no." We said the same thing when he came out. Then all of a sudden, we liked him. You know what I mean? When with the Ziggler AJ thing, I bagged his ass every day. I used to make fun of Carlton E. Bankston.
Yeah.
I used to make fun of him every week, and then he started to work heavy, and it was really nice. And then once the New Day stuff evolved, I thought he was actually the standout character, and then he took a backseat to Xavier Woods. But still, I think that some of these spots that he's developed himself, he's gotten safer with that spear spot going out from the inside to the out through the ropes. He's gotten safer with a lot of the things that he seemed a little bit reckless with, and to me, that shows that you can at least hang with some of these guys on the main event level, and I'd like to see where it could potentially go.
So
I know
you're
think he
not
has
even talking about Kofi or Xavier Woods. You're talking about Big E.
Well, because I think Xavier Woods is going to go to 205 and be one of the top cruiserweights.
You think so?
Yeah, they're pushed. They're put, especially over the last 2 weeks. If you read the internet, they're pushing. Vince put out a memo apparently that says, "I'm not hiring anybody at all unless they're 205 pounds and under," which I almost threw up. I couldn't believe it. That was, I mean, Jesus, that we're officially.
No, I got to start on the treadmill.
For right now.
No, I know.
But I mean, think about that statement compared to where we were.
But why are you not saying that about Kofi?
Oh, because I think Kofi probably has some new life as a veteran who's done it forever. But I don't see any sort of real storylines coming out of Kofi. Think about where he was for like the last 3 years before the New Day.
I know,
Nowhere.
but now
after that, he never did anything after that Orton program.
But now he's
2010.
back. Now he's on the fucking radar. The guy deserves. I'm not saying he necessarily deserves a world title run, even though he could. I think with the right booking, he could support it. Personally,
Yes, I do agree. I don't think that they have the will nor the manpower to book him into something that's like anything substantial at this point. I mean, look at the guys who still aren't booked into anything substantial.
I just think they could rotate a little better. I
Yes.
think like guys
On Raw,
could come
there's
after the world title and lose and go back down to the U.S. title range. You know?
I don't think that's a terrible idea. But the problem with that is how do you keep a guy strong when you inevitably have to job him out? Like, it would be Kofi. All of a sudden, Kofi's going to be a viable championship contender and then lose for 8 months out of the year?
No, and then lose. No, but the feuds are too long. The serious feud should last that long, but like, you know, you have a pay-per-view every fucking month. Why is Dean Ambrose fighting AJ Styles for 4 months? You can't beat him.
Because you got to keep your champion strong. I think on the SmackDown brand, they've done that. The champion is the best guy.
Yeah. So, but that's what
And
I'm
then
saying.
you've
The
got-
champ is the best guy. So Dean Ambrose, gets his shot, loses. Maybe he warrants a second shot, loses. Next guy.
Okay.
Right?
Right. But if they slip Dean Ambrose out of that main event position, nobody's interested in Dean Ambrose.
They
and then
just
you gotta
did
work.
it. He's going against The Miz for the IC title now.
Right.
They literally just did that. What you're saying.
Right. So, but I would be willing to say that 6 months from now, then they got to try and rebuild Ambrose again, and there's nothing there. We just saw it with Reigns. He's got the U.S. title now, and they go back and forth with who's going for the U.S. title this week, and it never matters. You know, and I just think that because all he's going to do is Raw's weird right now anyway. They flip flop back and
They're
forth.
both weird.
Yeah, they are. But that's neither here nor there. And I think that the New Day ultimately, it's time. The time has come to break up. Now that doesn't necessarily mean that you've got a connection in Cesaro and Sheamus. That is
Carrying the torch forward for tag team wrestling, like American Alpha is.
Yeah, but it's go ahead.
Can I propose something to everyone listening and to my friends here in attendance?
Sure.
A tiered system, right? So the guys at the top, right? There's the world champ, right? Then there's like 3 to 5 guys who could conceivably win the world title. Then there's 10 to 15 guys that could conceivably win the secondary title. And anybody who wants to tag with anybody can go for the tag belts, because fine, right? And this keeps the women separate. But so you've got only those guys at the top. If you have like 3 to 5, you have enough programs for a year. Once in a while, those 10 to 15, you can select 1 or 2 to enter that 3 to 5. And then one drops down, who's obviously not doing it, like Dean Ambrose, right? So there's like a fluidity, but at the same time, it's clear. It's like Savage, Hogan, Warrior. Those guys could be world champs anytime.
Right, but you wouldn't put...
DiBiase is not in there.
Those are the heels, though, and wrestling was different back then. So,
I'm just thinking personalities that our audience can relate to.
Right, but DiBiase is a top guy. He's a top heel. House shows he's the top main event every single night. You know what I mean?
Okay.
So
then he's in the 3 to 5.
Right.
Even if he'll never win it.
Exactly, and that's how it was, right? But then you go into, let's say, you're never going to put Tito Santana up there to wrestle, every now and then to get into that main event spot.
Yeah. Why not?
Because there's no heel champion in that stage of the game. And so
why? But it's okay. But I get the face and heel thing. But once in a while, there's competition between faces and heels and heels. Once in a while, and it suits storylines. Even Hogan Warrior, WrestleMania. Yeah,
but you
can do it.
I think it's like apples and oranges in this stage of the game. There's 8 hours of wrestling, just the WWE product every week, and that's not even like you can't consistently bring guys up and bring them down. You got to keep them strong somehow. That was easy when you were doing an hour of television every week and then doing house shows around the country with the same matches, because that was what people were invested in. Then between Royal Rumble and WrestleMania, you've got the one storyline build that everyone cares so much about, because Macho is a dick to Elizabeth and Hogan's going to save the day. You know what I mean? Right. So it's a different landscape, and I understand what you're saying in that. Okay, so who are some of the 15 that you would like to see on that main event level?
No.
Throughout a given year.
Well, that's 3 to 5.
Bounce back. I'm saying like the lower tier guys. Like all right, no one's interested in a Ziggler at all, and he just wrestled on Tuesday night. No one ever thought he was going to win anything.
Right. Ziggler is a guy who would be a strong IC title candidate and a viable but unlikely world title candidate, right? Like Tito Santana, actually, since you brought him up, if we're going to compare eras, right?
Yeah.
Whereas, like, a Savage, right, would be like, oh, God, I don't even want to say a Cena, right? But Cena came back, right? If you put Cena in an IC title match because it's the one belt he's never held, it's viable, right?
Right.
But that's not what he's doing. He's going after the world title again.
But we've seen it with the U.S. title.
But he can do that.
He brought that one up tremendously. As a matter of fact, it's only really lost its luster since Roman Reigns has been the champion.
Right. So, like, Rusev is a guy that can conceivably be a world champion. He dominates, right?
Sure.
He's not gonna. So
I hope so.
Someday with the right storyline and all that.
Perfect heel.
But that's a guy who could be your secondary champion all the time. Any day.
Sure.
At all. And he's not likely to be a world champion, but he can go up there, which is actually what I think Ambrose would be on SmackDown. I just think that there's a place for that you can have your guys who can conceivably win the world title.
Yes. Now I think I agree with you, but I think as far as Rusev goes, a guy like Dean Ambrose, if you don't keep him in that main event picture, he's not going to be able to sustain. And he'll never be believable back in the main event picture if you give him the amount of time, i.e. a Dolph Ziggler.
Unless you write him a good story to bring him back up.
That won't happen. Because we saw a great story with Dolph Ziggler's retirement, and then
that was so fucking good.
Yeah.
right?
Restricted.
And then
Restricted.
when did that ended up happening?
They
The following
blew it.
week, yeah.
They blew it. They should separate them.
Right.
You know, have the Miz. Here's speculation again. Have the Miz feud with one of those top 3 to 5 guys.
Yeah.
Real quick.
Yeah, that's a good point.
For no title, keep him relevant, and then have Ziggler defend against some of the bottom guys and keep winning. It just, I don't know, man.
See, now that makes a lot of sense. That makes a lot of sense, and I think that
Then have the Miz say, you know what? I'm going after AJ Styles.
right.
You know?
Okay, well,
I don't know, man.
all that being said, I think we can be thankful that we've got the wrestling product that we've got right now as opposed to 2010 through 2013, 14.
You remember me saying I wasn't going to yell today?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, guys.
It's all good, man.
I got pent up shit. It's been a couple weeks.
So, 2016 in wrestling. Saw a lot of different things happen. I just want to ask you guys both quickly, how do you think the brand split has gone overall over the since its inception in the early summer? How do we think the brand split is going about 6 months in?
Am I going first? There's ups and downs to it. I think the ups, like the positives being that it helps develop some of these other wrestlers that weren't able to be in the spotlight because of the shows being together.
So like an AJ Styles might be
Yes.
doing a little bit better than he would have amongst the shuffle of everybody else.
I don't know about necessarily him, but
Or Braun Strowman.
yeah, someone like those guys are getting like American Alpha that now that they became the tag team champions, and like that probably like if we only had the tag belts, they wouldn't be the champions right now. We all know that. You know what I mean? They would earn them eventually, but you know it helps in that way. But essentially for WWE, I don't know if it helps. It's a lot of wrestling, like we always talk about, for people to watch, splitting up the shows and keeping track of all these new wrestlers and 205 Live and all these other things like that. And I don't know how profitable it is to them because, like, if one show does better than the other, you know what I mean?
So how do we feel about everything you said about the spotlight being able to be on different guys as opposed to the oversaturation? Like, which way does it weigh out?
I enjoy it.
Would you rather have these guys get the exposure that they deserve and a much more wrestling product, and which sometimes can be very lackluster and just straight up weird?
It depends on who it is, I would say, but I guess so we don't have to have like John Cena stuffed down our throats 2 nights a week and we only have it once.
Yeah, but he's much better now than he ever was before.
He's definitely much better. Like I don't have a huge problem with him either, but I guess.
But I see what you're saying.
But somebody like
'Cause
that,
anybody
'cause
can get that, like
Somebody that's a good example because some people hate him so much. You know, what I mean?
Right.
They don't want to see him because they're sick of him now, and they want to have the younger talent have a chance instead of seeing John Cena as the champion all the time.
Okay.
So I think it depends on who it is, but it's nice to see the guys that do deserve a shot or get the chance they deserve before they end up getting cut, or if they do,
Okay, so what do you got for the brand split? A thumbs up or a thumbs down overall?
I'm gonna say thumbs up. For
Okay.
now.
Because sometimes it's good.
It's tough to say too because they give you two, like you said, two. I like the 2 pay-per-views a month, but it's a lot to keep up with. And all the new shows they're developing, even like the TV series, like Total Divas and things like that, and then the Bellas have their own show, and Daniel Bryan and John Cena are on it now. And
205 Live and
there's-
SmackDown Live. And SmackDown Live, I think, has really taken a hit as opposed to what it was. Because it was a show that had a lot of buzz and could carry some very serious storylines in the grand picture of things. And now I don't think anyone has the desire to watch it because you got to sit through 205 Live. And by that point, I don't know.
It's true. It's a lot of wrestling to do on Tuesdays now, because then they, I know at the end of SmackDown this week they had Neville get ready for my title match that's coming up with
Yeah.
Rich Swann, but Neville's character, we haven't seen much of Neville during the brand split, which is surprising too, because that's someone you'd be like, oh, he's an upcoming star, so we're going to see a lot of him.
Sure.
Now they're starting to use him, which is right in the cruiserweight division, which will be perfect because he can dominate the cruiserweight division. And I don't know why they waited so long to do this. Him being heel, it's just making him even better than he ever was. So I think at some point, I didn't see 205 Live. I'm guessing Swan still has the belt, but
I didn't even see it. I couldn't even speak.
I'm
on
guessing
it,
he
to be
does. But
honest.
I wouldn't be surprised eventually if Neville is the one who takes the belt from him too.
All All right, so the Hitman's got a thumbs up on the brand split for overall. Made some valid points there about the positives and negatives. How do you feel, Shockmaster Grizz?
Give you a enthusiastic 3/4 up. Like,
but see, there's something to be said for that. That's almost. Would you say that 3/4 of the way up is like a feeling of empathy? Could take it or leave it.
It's just. I mean, yeah, it's great to like the Hitman said, the man of hits said, you know, I don't want John Cena shoved down my throat 3 times a week. I don't want Roman Reigns shoved down my throat 3 times a week. If I have one shoved down my throat once a week and the other shoved down my throat the other time a week, that's great.
That's what she said.
She's got 2 hands and a mouth for a reason. So at the end of the day, I think the brand split is a great idea. I don't know how I feel about both shows having a world title, a secondary title, a women's title, and a tag title. Like, just fucking...
It's fucking crazy.
WCW. Just open a second brand, like a real second brand at that point. But okay. So, if that's the point that they're trying to get to, cool, but they're not there yet. Right?
Yeah, I just don't see how that's really possible.
Well, the NFL.
With the TV deals and stuff.
The NFL, right? The AFC and the NFC. You took 2 football leagues, put them together. They play each other once in a while. They kind of cross, and then you get the Super Bowl.
Yeah, but that's
which
real.
would be WrestleMania. It's as real as fucking wrestling.
Well, the thing is that it lends itself to be a lot more cut and dry, is what my point is.
Right.
You still have the dusty finishes and the entertainment factor stuff that can't ever go away because
Sure.
you wouldn't be able to move storylines along. But
But
you know,
I just so what I'm really trying to say, I guess, especially with NXT kind of coming up as a third brand, as a separate third brand that's on the same tier. We're getting there, right?
I guess I'm
Used
not
to
as
be
interested.
developmental. You're
Yeah,
not as
right.
interested in NXT as you are in the main roster
Simply because I can't have the time.
because you don't have the time. But the better stuff is going on down there. Shinsuke and Joe had a phenomenal program.
Yeah, well, I mean,
DIY.
I see the matches. I see the matches and stuff.
The shit that's happening down there is better anyway.
Sometimes it is. Sure, I mean, it's better than seeing Reigns and Owens for the 800th time, and we're going to see them 8 more times between now and the next time they actually have a real match in 5 weeks from now at Royal Rumble.
It's fucking terrible.
Yeah.
But I do think the brand split was a good idea. I think you needed to kind of
Okay.
give people more time.
What about you, Joe?
Well, we got 2 thumbs up for the brand split, and I am, in all honesty, going to agree with you guys. I think just the fact that so many guys can get highlighted and we have these storylines come out of things, even though, for the most part, over the last month, there hasn't been more development for other guys, like, at all. It's been the 4 guys on Raw, and then the 3 or 4 guys on SmackDown, including the chin that runs the inn, who sucks. So I think that I'm going to give the brand split a thumbs up, but that's not my opinion on booking for 2016. Even though booking has improved a lot.
But you like the idea of a brand split.
And Apollo Crews got a IC title match 2 weeks ago on SmackDown. How'd you feel?
Who cares?
That was because
I
of-
couldn't even see it.
that
They
was
don't even
because
show
of,
that shit on
Apollo
Hulu.
who?
Apollo who? That was because of Fluffy. Gabriel Iglesias pretty much got him that title shot.
The smile we ain't seen in a while. Apollo Crews.
Smile we ain't seen in a while.
Yeah.
That's so good.
Yeah. So that's all right.
I'll bet if he could talk, he'd be on TV. Because Baron Corbin can't talk, and he's on TV.
And Big E can, and he doesn't look as good as Apollo Crews.
I am much more intimidated by Big E
Yeah,
than I am
that's
by
true.
Apollo Crews.
That's true.
If you want to talk about, like...
Right.
brr.
Yeah. The Uha Nation gimmick was so good. And that's funny about Apollo Crews, because, like, as much as I can't stand that character, the Uha Nation gimmick was a lot different, and I think... But that was, like, way before... He came in before they started letting guys use their shit.
Yep.
So, we'll see what happens. Maybe they might be able to go through that again, you know?
They can repackage him.
Yeah. But, all right. So, that was our opinions on the brand split for overall. Now, one thing we don't get to talk about a lot is commentary on this show. We don't really dive into it too much, but there's a lot of commentators now. And there's been a lot of shuffle. There's been a lot of shuffle with the brand split happening and some new guys coming in. And what do we think overall about commentary? Name one, mainly being the addition of Mauro Ranallo over the past year. Now, this is a man who is probably the busiest commentator in all of sports. He calls boxing for Showtime. He calls MMA for Glory. He calls the WWE on a fucking nightly basis. And he's done the Cruiserweight Classic alongside Daniel Bryan. He's doing the 205 Live alongside Austin Aries and Corey Graves.
Mamma mia.
And he's like, what does he say too? He's like, Cesaro is en fuego.
Yeah. What do you think about him?
I absolutely love him. I think he is the best commentator for the product, and I think that for wrestling especially, I feel like he's got such a deep passion for it, and you can hear it in every word he says, every match he calls. And I also think that he's relevant to pop culture enough where he doesn't sound like a cheesy douchebag like Michael Cole. He's supposed to sound a little bit like a joke, because he's a nerd and he's supposed to sound like that. So he makes these references, like when he's, says like "Mamma Mia," he's supposed to sound. That's on purpose.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
You know what I'm saying?
It took me a while to catch on to him, to be honest. I kind of like him now, but I know everybody hates Michael Cole. I mean, I guess because he's been around for so long, they're probably just going to let him end up retiring.
Well, that and he can't even call the right moves for things.
Yeah, he fucks.
He'll literally just throw names of other moves out there.
Can we get Jim Ross back or what?
I think Michael Cole knows something about Vince McMahon. There's no other explanation for his continued existence.
The other explanation is that he's the ass kisser.
Yeah, he is.
The guys like JR always gave Vince a problem. King wanted to do his own thing sometimes.
Yeah, JR mouthed off or whatever.
Right. And I'm sure Cole just, yes, boss, yes, boss, yes, boss.
I'll suck your dick, Vince. What?
And there's something to be said for that with his...
Too harsh? Or what?
No, I don't think it's too harsh at all. I would like to think that Vince McMahon as a
businessman,
forward-thinking individual would notice that some douchebag was just saying yes.
But there's something to say for the fact that, well, no, because Vince is he's
an egomaniac, right. I guess, is what they say.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it, Vince.
I don't hate Michael Cole.
Me either. I don't hate him.
Dislike him.
And you know what? He's pretty much running the show. He is like the senior producer of event commentary or something like that.
He's way better than he was. There are times that he was appalling.
If you know it, it's this year, and I think he's saying a lot of things that Mauro would say.
Yeah, he had to change his game up because they were changing all the announcers, and if he wanted to stick around, they were going to have to switch everything up. So he have to understand that too.
Yeah, so I think Mauro Ranallo just has the pedigree, and that he's melded right into this WWE system very well. Still remaining must be one of the busiest guys in entertainment. To be honest with you,
sorry to cut you off. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I think Corey Graves is doing a great job. He plays the role that Bradshaw plays on SmackDown.
Yeah, he's a heel. He's the heel guy.
I think Corey Graves actually more, not to discount what you said, but I think he more accurately plays the role that King would play if King was still a heel.
Yeah.
Because JBL's heel role is like kind of almost like Vince, Yeah. Whereas Corey Graves is. Yeah.
I feel like Corey Graves might be a little bit more the voice of Corey Graves.
Yeah.
Which is a good thing, and there's something to be said for that. This year in the world of WWE, we've seen a lot more of guys being able to go after what they want to say and things that, like, being a little bit more unscripted, turning their own personality up to 10, which, as we've heard, it's actually become sort of a cliche that those tend to be the best wrestling personas. But sticking with the commentary thing just a little bit, you've got, Jerry the King Lawler, who is no longer with the company at all.
Really?
No. Over the last 2 weeks, he has left the company entirely.
They let him go, right? So something happened.
It was more of a mutual thing.
Something happened. I read it online. I don't recall what it was, though.
I mean, he's had a bunch of stuff. In
all fairness, that's one of the most tenured individuals.
Love that guy
by far.
Well, and I'll be honest with you, I don't love him. I his commentary always seemed kind of cartoonish to me, but the fact that he's been there for as long as he was there for the entirety of Monday Night Raw. Am I mistaken?
Yes, that's true. He was actually, I think Raw was on for like 2 or 3 weeks before his actual debut, and then he had been working with Vince and in Memphis.
In different aspects and whatnot.
The whole ECW thing, and then it just snowballed from there. We don't need to run down, the King's career, but
if the King is no longer with the company, that's a big deal. I didn't know that. I didn't realize that was coming.
you got to think about how old this guy is.
Do you think WWE cuts people too soon, or they give them enough opportunity to plead their case? If I guess it depends on what each person has done. I'm just thinking of their history.
How does Bo Dallas
history of
still have a
cutting
job?
people.
It's totally
Family.
from situation to situation. And in this case, I don't think it was the King getting canned as much as it was a mutual thing. Because the last thing the King has even done since the brand split, since he wasn't on SmackDown anymore, was to go, because he was on SmackDown before the brand split, and then
It seems like WWE seems to respect the family guys. You know what I mean? The guys their father or their uncle has wrestled in
Like
WWE.
Bo Dallas.
Bo Dallas,
Or like the
with
King.
Iris, or
Curtis Axel.
Curtis Axel with Mr. Perfect, and
Yeah, I know, but in this scenario, it's not really relevant because the King is one of the greatest to ever do it, and his family pedigree is just as big.
Yes.
But the thing, I think with the King is that he was reduced to the role of the pre-show,
Yes.
and that tends to be
Just pay-per-views too, right? That's what it was, or something.
that tends to be a little bit less scripted and a little bit more off the cuff. And I think the King's just tired. Because for so many years, this guy wouldn't even be on the road with them. He would fly in the morning, do SmackDown or Raw, whichever show he was on at the time, turn around and fly home, and then that would be the end of it. He was not doing a full-time schedule with everybody else. And even back in, I can remember in the 2000s and the 90s, he was still taking all those indie bookings and things like that during being in the tenure and stuff. But really the only question I wanted to ask was, do you miss the King in the commentary booth? And what he had to offer, not for a nostalgic reason, but for a benefit to the product.
Well, I do, just because I grew up watching him, and through my time of WWE, he was very important.
Pretty much all that you knew, right?
Yeah, everything that I knew, him and Jim Ross, pretty much. But I don't know. I guess people get tired, and it could be his time to move on or whatever he's got going on. But I'm sure he'll be back doing something eventually. So
He won't go away completely.
we'll see.
I do not at all. I think Corey Graves has stepped delicately into that position, and then asserted himself as the kind of rule breaker commentary. I think he's doing a great job.
I agree.
Yeah, he's definitely doing a great job.
And my memories of Jerry Lawler are like puppies, and I'm like, ugh, Jesus, shut up, you perverted old man.
Sleazy, Wheezy, and Cheesy versus Doink, Dink, Pink, and whatever the fuck.
Blah, 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 blah. Yeah, I mean his greatest moment in my memory in WWE was a feud with Bret Hart where they barely wrestled, and it was a kiss my foot match, and
that shit.
I know that
Kiss my foot match.
Lawler very capably earned his spot in the Hall of Fame with his feud with Andy Kaufman, but I could do with or without his commentary the entire time. So maybe I'm in the minority. Maybe I'm a jerk.
Some of the jokes were funny. I don't know.
When he says puppies, it makes me think of when Sable had the handprints on her titties. I was going nuts because I was a young kid. I was like, wow.
Sure, and the same kind of applies for me then. I mean, it was funny to me because I was a 13-year-old boy, the prime demographic for all that sleazy, you dick jokes and sex shit.
Yep.
But looking back I'm a little bit of a historian, and I would much rather preserve the Andy Kaufman things and the Tennessee things and that nasty pile driver and that sick right hand as opposed to some of the commentary stuff. So
yeah.
I actually agree with both of you. I do miss the King for that nostalgia factor, that little bit of history in wrestling. They can always go, you have someone in there like that, you can always go back and talk about how great they were and sort of bring some prestige to the booth.
Yeah.
But overall, I think maybe the company right now, in regards to a commentary aspect, is better.
Well, I think the role that JBL plays on the SmackDown team that is not represented on the Raw team is an old-ass veteran that everyone recognizes. It was Gorilla Monsoon, then it was Jesse Ventura, Bobby Heenan as a manager.
And that's my point exactly.
Corey Graves, I guess, he wrestled. but he got injured pretty early, and now he's there. He, fulfills the heel role, but he doesn't fulfill the tenured veteran role.
Right. And that's a good point too. So now, according to Dave Meltzer, another former legend commentator, legend in ring and on the commentary booth, debatable on the commentary booth, Booker T will soon be running for mayor of Houston.
I thought he already did.
No.
Oh, all right.
He didn't. He threw his hat in the ring this time.
Okay.
What did we think of Booker T as a commentator?
Oh, okay. I thought
Shucky
you were going to
Ducky.
say as a wrestler, because I was going to say the Houston Hangover or the Harlem Hangover, like that top rope somersault leg drop from a guy who's 6'8", was awesome.
I always loved Booker T. I always felt that from their onset in WCW, when I started watching WCW on the regular. I mean, obviously, I'm knowledgeable about all the NWA stuff, but that didn't come until after. I started watching WCW in the heyday of Harlem Heat, right when they started up. They were on every Saturday night, so I always
Coming for you,
right. And I think that his contributions to wrestling. We can go and talk about his wrestling career just like we could of Jerry the King Lawler. I'm sticking to a little bit more commentary things. He is no longer with the company on a regular basis, just like the King.
Booker T isn't?
No.
Huh. Well, he runs a school.
Right.
He does. I know he does training seminars because I almost went to one. But he was on commentary for SmackDown, and I watched SmackDown, and once in a while he had said something I liked, but I will never miss him on commentary.
Yeah, no.
For sure.
All right, same here. All right, well that was commentary.
The only person I miss is Joey Styles.
Yeah. I don't know. I just think he just didn't want to do it toward the end there.
Yeah,
And he just had no desire to do it. So therefore, I don't really want to see someone who doesn't have any desire to do something like that. Because it's you really got to have your heart in it there. So what do we think of Ceno's promo return? His return promo, if I should say.
When he
This
when
week.
he first came to the ring.
His return this week.
It was good.
Does he fight Undertaker at WrestleMania?
I would say I hope so. I don't really want to see him fight anyone else.
Is he in the Royal Rumble?
Cena or Taker?
Cena.
No, he's going to fight.
No.
AJ.
Right, but I mean, we don't know if these guys are going to be in the. So what's the Royal Rumble just going to be jobbers then? Besides
Goldberg and Brock
right,
Lesnar.
but I'm saying it's just going to be all about them and just going to go back and forth, and
it will
they'll
be
eliminate each other.
Much about them, and it'll go back and forth. But the scenario that I most would like to see, I guess, assuming that the poster that they put out, somebody put out the poster of fucking AJ Styles and Shawn Michaels face to face, right? You hold out hope because WrestleMania's in San Antonio, or Royal Rumble's in San Antonio, and you kind of want to see Shawn Michaels fight fucking AJ Styles, right? And then they blow it, and it's Cena. So I kind of guess I want AJ to retain and fight Shawn Michaels at WrestleMania, or, I want Cena to win the belt, fight Undertaker at WrestleMania, and have AJ Styles have some kind of I'm the greatest of all time thing lead to a Shawn Michaels match at WrestleMania. I don't fucking know. What I do know is I want Chris Jericho to win a Royal Rumble because he never has, and I want him to fight Kevin Owens in a ladder war, but that's not going to happen. But I want him to fight Kevin Owens at WrestleMania. That's what I want. That's what I think is very clearly written on the wall.
Sure, certainly, those two will definitely line up at WrestleMania.
But they have a personal gripe that means they could fight without the Rumble. That's what I'm saying.
Right. It's
Cena and Taker don't have that.
What we've seen mostly over the last 10 years is that the Royal Rumble winner sort of is the one that needs to be shaped into that program. Right on. I think you're pretty spot on there, but minus the whole Shawn Michaels thing. I don't know. He's got this job down south now
But he's in the ring more, so he would know if he feels good enough to go.
That's true.
That's what I think.
That's true. That's true, but he's not going to go out there and do an Undertaker match in this stage of the game. You know what I mean? He's going to go out and he's not going to want to be limited, especially with someone like AJ. You can't do that match like that. You can't have him.
It's a once in a lifetime. Like, this is really my swan song. This is it.
Right, but I don't want to see him like flopping all over the ring or anything like kind of dumb. And I don't want to see him like taking risks that are way too unnecessary, like we've seen him.
I agree with both of those things.
Right.
But I also think if he knew that it was like, well, the fans really, really want to see this. This is the second coming of me, like when he fought Flair. Right. I'll come out for one more. And do it right.
Okay.
Not like Hogan, where I'm like, oh, I don't want to lose to this guy, because he didn't do that for Taker. You'll notice that. The way he flopped for Hogan at SummerSlam is he did none of that against Undertaker either time at WrestleMania.
Right. Right.
If it was tasteful and it was done with the right cause in mind, I think it would be great.
Did you see Stephanie troll CM Punk on Raw?
Yeah. I can't. We could talk about CM Punk. He holds no relevance in this world.
Barry, you saw it or no?
I did. That's the one thing I did see this week.
So
because I watched a YouTube video.
So everyone listening.
So in the world of Shockmaster, CM Punk apparently is relevant.
So he is relevant. So everyone listening, Steph McMahon comes to the ring this week to start off Raw, and there is an extremely loud CM Punk chant because it's in Chicago.
Yeah.
And word from word, she said...
Extremely loud is debatable. They could turn that shit up real quick.
They could turn it up really quick. She said, if you guys can keep that up for the next 2 minutes and 15 seconds, you'll last 1 second longer than CM Punk did. Like, meaning in his UFC match.
Oh, yeah.
So...
Which was clever.
It was good. Probably took 3 writers to write that who should have been spending their time writing Cena back into the world.
Angles.
Yeah. So, that's my opinion.
Something better than Braun Strowman versus fucking...
Well, no, and all that Braun Strowman shit is fine, but don't have him cutting jokes at the end. Stupid comedy shit. Like, I'm multitasking. It was funny, but like you want this guy to be a fucking animal monster. They either make it one segment he's an idiot, next segment he's a clever comeback saying he's multitasking as he's running through the hallway beating people up, and then he's got to worry about nonsense on top of it, all while being...
It just seemed like it was such a good idea for him to come out and beat up Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns. It's like, I am asserting myself as a dominant force, I'm here in the main event
So why the fuck does he care so much about Sami Zayn, who doesn't matter? Sami Zayn wasn't there that night because he was out delivering newspapers and listening to ska. Like, it doesn't...
Sami Zayn should matter because we were going to do year-end stuff. If we did year-end stuff, I would say that my match of the year was Nakamura versus Sami Zayn, but... he had 2 match of the year candidates.
Yeah, I really like the one with Owens.
They're both.
Yeah.
Guy's a fucking stud, and he makes everyone he wrestles against look better.
Sure, but they just don't have anything for him. He's kind of, he is kind of like, he does have a little bit of an identity crisis, and I don't know if that's his fault at all, but I don't know. I don't really know, but we can continue this year-end conversation next week for sure. We'll still have 5 weeks to Royal Rumble, so we will have we'll do more of our best of stuff. We kept this one a little longer than usual, so thank you for listening. And if anyone else has anything to add, we can go ahead. If not, we can shut it down for this week and carry some things on.
I think that's it. Just looking at the SmackDown and Raw results.
Yeah, that's the thing with SmackDown and Raw. They'll be carrying these storylines out for the next 5 weeks. We'll be good. We'll be able to cover this stuff and get into our predictions nice and in-depthly. In-depthification is what I'm looking to accomplish here.
Yeah, it looks pretty good. Alexa Bliss, women's champion, Joe's favorite.
Yeah, she's not my favorite wrestler. Charlotte is definitely the best women's wrestler there is, but oh, come on. I think she's good. I think I think the title has helped her out a little bit as far as I thought they were going to be flip-flopping it back and forth.
Before we go, for 2016, who's the wrestler you hate the most?
Ooh,
for
Joe.
2016.
Come on, Joe.
Apollo Crews is just so irrelevant that how could you possibly hate him?
Well,
Okay, so
for-
who do you hate?
for you besides Apollo Crews? Because we
Baron
know.
Corbin.
Oh, I thought you were going to say Dean Ambrose.
All right, so if
I don't.
Apollo Crews fought Baron Corbin.
He's a good candidate because Dean doesn't really have much of anything going on. He's got one spot which sucks. So that stupid fucking clothesline with this weird leg thing in the ropes that is not even remotely suspending disbelief of anything ever. Like if he did it like once or twice, like and that was it.
You mean the Ambrose like hanging out of the ropes thing?
No, when he like gets hit and then he falls back and kicks his leg up.
Yeah. That's we're talking.
Comes
about
back
something.
with a stupid clothesline that he's got noodle arms, so any clothesline
Noodle
would
arms.
never take out half the guys that it takes out anyway.
who are we talking about?
I don't know,
Arms?
dude. Johnny
Ambrose.
Damon's got a better arms than fucking
who?
than
Johnny
Dean Ambrose.
Damon hits
Oh,
grand
Dean
slams.
Ambrose. Right, but if he's traditionally known for his terrible arm from the
Yeah,
outfield.
he's got fucking. He can't throw for shit.
Yeah.
We witnessed that as Yankee fans. Too.
Yeah.
Good God.
I'm a Red Sox fan.
Oh, hey.
so-
Well, then you witnessed it.
Yeah,
right
you
away.
had
Well, you witnessed some good
he had a
times with Johnny
mustache then.
Damon.
Maybe,
Yeah. But
I think I don't like Dean Ambrose at all. On the flip
so
side of that,
in a triple threat match, who would you want to win? Dean Ambrose, Baron Corbin, or Apollo Crews? Who would you root for in that match?
a terrorist attack is what I
No.
Barry, you want me to go next? Or who
Yeah,
do
you.
All right.
I don't ever root for any sort of terrorist attack. If I actually really need to say that, then I would say that. But it's pretty much implied.
I would have to say I don't know if I really hate anybody. I'm trying to think. I would say the person I don't like the most, like I don't think they're going anywhere, and I don't like enjoy their character. And now that his partner is hurt, aka Zack Ryder, I fucking hate Mojo Rawley. I just want
What?
to put that out there.
Really?
What?
I just can't fucking stand. Like
Okay.
I don't know what it is. Like he's just like you say. He's like the characters are.
You
bland
don't
and
like
stuff.
Serbians?
He fucking fought Kurt Hawkins on SmackDown in a solo match. I know they got to keep him out there now and think of something for him to do without Zack Ryder's not going to be there for a really long time. So what the fuck? Like Mojo Rawley, any hype he had is fucking gone. You know.
Sure.
So, I mean, who knows what they had planned for them? Because now that American Alpha won the titles, if you think about it, right before that, the Hype Bros had the number one contenders for the title match. But I don't know if they were planning on doing that or what.
The tag world
But-
is so Vince is so hot and cold on it every single
The
week.
Wyatts were fighting, like Luke Harper and Orton were fighting, like getting in a fight this week. So who knows? Yeah, I don't know what it is.
What a good segue, because my personal hated wrestler is and always will be Randy Orton.
That's
but,
nuts, bro. He's had great matches.
Dude,
He
I
has had some great matches. I mean, a lot of people are well carried. I get it, you
my
know.
RKO's
Yeah.
Christmas sweater. Dude.
And now they're already here. It's a gripe. They're already going to break up the Wyatts. They reestablished the Wyatts as they are, and they're already going to break them up again.
Yeah, I mean, we knew
We
that
were,
was coming.
we did, but they tricked us enough to make us think that they were going to stay together.
Right.
All right, I'm done. Sorry.
All right, guys. Happy New Year. We'll talk more about the year-end stuff next week as we lead into 2017. Big things coming from the Rope Break for 2017. Look forward to our Facebook page. We'll do some YouTube videos and stuff like that, and we'll take care of you guys in 2017.
Drinking game is coming.
Yep, the Royal Rumble drinking game is on the horizon, so get ready for that. We'll be prepping our promos, and we hope to see you guys there. For Shockmaster Grizz and Brett the Hitman, I am Joe Maga signing out.
Rope Break 2017.